Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from kicksoncourt.com. Today we have another performance review and it is on the Nike Air Max Hyperposite. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting out with the traction, you can see that it is not herringbone and it is a flat surface. So it's not peaked like a peak. It's more just like a flat box type of groove, and it's not super flexible because of the shape, but it does actually work. I have not had any issues with this traction whatsoever, no matter how fast I was moving, how quickly I was stopping, curling, cutting, crossing, things like that. Everything with the traction is perfectly fine. I personally prefer to use solid rubber soles, which is what this one is here, and then the other colorways do feature a translucent outsole. I personally don't have any experience with those. A friend of mine does, and he says that he has not had any issues with the traction on that model with the translucent outsole. So as far as I'm aware of, everything is fine with both types of rubbers, but just from my personal experience alone, the rubber, or solid rubber I should say, on this model here is something that I personally do choose or prefer, especially for indoor court. The cushion itself is just like the LeBron 8. It is a 360 degree Air Max unit, and then above that unit is a Phylon midsole, and below that is another Phylon hit injected within the pillars. So if you have played in the LeBron 8, then this is pretty much going to give you the same amount of cushion. Transition is decent. It's just like the LeBron 8, maybe a little bit more firm just because of the foam itself, and it feels like the bag has a higher level of PSI, more air. I can't confirm that, to be perfectly honest, just because my LeBron 8s are so used that I could have kind of like messed up those bubbles a little bit over the years, so just with ordinary wear and tear. But as far as cushion is concerned, you definitely have maximum cushion in the heel. It is slimmed down in the forefoot, but it is still very apparent. And then inside you have it's going to be hard to see. I don't know if I can pull these out because they're the glue after playing in them, but alright, so inside though is a thick insole. So the graphics on these do stay in for the most part. The very front graphic is the one that came off. That has absolutely nothing to do with performance, but some people like the graphics that are in there. There's like some kind of like S or something way back up there, or way up there, so that was the only one that got kind of ruined. But that insole definitely gives you a nice stepping comfort. So once you put your foot in these guys here, it is a comfortable feeling, and then once you start playing in them, it does take a little bit of break in time, mostly for the foam or the Phylon midsole, but afterwards you're definitely going to get the maximum amount of cushion that you could possibly receive in a shoe with this 360 degree Air Max unit. So the materials are unbelievably awesome. Nike's basically created a sneaker here with two of their most durable materials, which is the Hyperfuse, all of the black section on the upper, along with Foamposite, which is all the blue that you see everywhere else. So the materials themselves are fantastic. This is definitely a shoe that's built to play in, and it's built to last. So whether you're playing with these on court or you're just wearing these casually off court, this shoe is definitely going to hold up for you no matter what. As far as the fit is concerned, they are true to size from a lengthwise perspective. However, they do fit very, very snug upon first wear. If you have wide feet, you're probably going to want to go up at least half a size. Definitely try them on if you can in store. But I will say this, is that the foam material around the forefoot area as well as the heel molds to your foot fairly quickly, just because it is a thinner mold of Foamposite than what we have been used to in previous Foamposite models. And you could feel it molding to your foot. Like, it took me about maybe two and a half hours, and throughout that first wear of that first night, this foam in the forefoot was breaking in and molding around my foot shape. And basically every game that I've worn them in afterwards has been absolutely phenomenal as far as their fit is concerned. Your foot is caged in from the forefoot area, locked down in the midfoot, and then the back of the heel also molds to your foot shape, giving you a one-to-one fit on this back heel cup. So it's definitely a really interesting shoe. Guards can wear it, but it is meant for a big man. The overall ventilation is minimal, so being that there is hyperfuse along the upper, you do have ventilation points at the midfoot section on both the medial and lateral side, and then you do have some minor mesh placements on the tongue, giving you decent breathability but not too much, which is a good thing, because with a Foamposite shoe you need no airflow whatsoever practically for this thing to mold to your foot as quickly as possible. Otherwise it's going to be a horrible experience until it starts to mold. So with the ventilation that they have in the key sections, which are basically the side and the top, which is usually typical for a Foamposite, is usually this tongue area, but they have expanded it with the side panels, so that's always a nice touch. And then everywhere else where there is Foamposite on the forefoot and the heel is not ventilated, so your moisture and your heat is making this mold to your foot shape a lot faster than it would if they had more ventilation points or points for airflow. So ventilation is going to be graded a little bit lower just because there isn't too much ventilation, but it's not something that is should be looked at in this type of shoe. So don't hold that against it, because it will lower its overall score, but this is definitely a good shoe to buy, whether or not you need or want that ventilation, because it's actually required for Foamposite to not have too much ventilation within the sneaker. Overall support is fantastic, especially once they mold to your foot. The overall shape of the shoe is very, very similar to the LeBron 8. It's actually near identical. So you can see that this does sit a little bit higher than the LeBron 8 on the collar, but you know, the overall shape and things like that is definitely the same on both sneakers. So again, this is something that, you know, this is just like the only shoe that you can really compare it to. The LeBron 9 was definitely a different model altogether. LeBron 10's sort of similar, but again, it doesn't have like the 360 Air Max that this one does. It has a 360 zoom unit, and then the collar and all that stuff is shaped differently as well. But basically these two shoes fit almost identical, and if you have played in these before or worn them casually, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with the fit on these guys. So like I was saying, the overall support mostly is coming from the fit and the materials themselves. Foamposite is a very supportive material, especially after it molds to your foot. There is a small outrigger here along the forefoot, which does help with your lateral movements and not tipping over to potentially roll your ankle. You are sitting up a little bit higher off the ground, but this is something that a guard is not going to be, this is not an ideal setup for a guard. You can wear them if you're a guard, but this is mostly meant for power forwards and centers, which is definitely something that you're going to be seeing this season in the NBA, as most of the centers and power forwards have been choosing to go with the Hyperposite. Overall, honestly, I thought that I was going to absolutely hate this shoe just because I am a guard. I'm a 1 or a 2. Typically I'm placed at the 1 spot, so I need a lot of range of motion, a lot of mobility, and a lot of flexibility in my sneakers for me personally. However, this shoe was fantastic. So if you are a guard and you want maximum cushion and a perfect fit, this is definitely a shoe for you. If you're a 3 or a 4, which is a small forward or a power forward, again, this is going to be a definite good shoe for you. And then if you're a center, this is definitely another good option. So this is a very somewhat versatile shoe, similar to the LeBron 8 again. There is lacking forefoot flexibility, but once everything molds to your foot, you have maximum cushion, a great fit, and awesome support. So if you're not looking for something super flexible, then this is definitely a good choice. They just went down in price, and they probably will again. So if you wanted to buy them now for the upcoming season, possibly go for it. It's definitely worth the price. I think they got lowered to about 170, 175, something around there. I was personally happy with the 225 purchase just because it is a Foamposite and it's going to be a long-lasting sneaker with the materials that they've used on here. Plus you get plenty of cushion with that 360 bottom. So once they lower these again though, I have a feeling this is definitely a shoe that's going to be outlet bound in certain colorways. Then I would scoop up a couple pairs of these just because it was a very good on-court option, and it will last you off-court as well. So it's one of those good shoes where it will last you no matter what your intended purpose is. So thank you guys again. Thanks for all your support. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you do have these already, let me know how you feel about them. If you don't have them, let me know if you're going to pick them up. For more information, you can go to my site, kicksoncourt.com. It's going to have a full performance review written out along with detailed images, and then there's also going to be the performance scores. So if you're interested in the performance scores, go there. So thanks again, and until next time guys, have a good one.